All right. It's Chris Sale Day. It's Kumar Rocker Day. It's Pre-Lip Day. So many days on today. 30 days on today's MLB card. Actually 29 because I'm not sure who's starting for San Francisco. But we'll discuss everything and the 4 playoff games today. Tune in, baby.
Yeah, I'm so fresh like the morning. Mouth wide open like they yawning. Every time they see me, they in G-Shock. Homie, this is too far. Homie, I feel too alive. You can see me like Illuminati. You can see me like Illuminati. But I'm trying to...
All right. Hi, I'm Welcome Post Sports Radio. You can see me like Illumina. Today is Friday, May 8th, and we got a full 15 game slate on the MLB card today, whatever I just said. We got 4 playoff games, NHL and NBA. It's going to be interesting. Of course, we did a show last night at 10 p.m. Eastern time, so talked about a bunch of this stuff. We previewed it. Is everything good with the audio? I'm hearing something else in the background. I don't know. Okay, hopefully everything is good. Shout out to everyone who's there. We're having some technical issues today, but that's right. Top set. Great to see you. Rob McMahon. All right. AM said, damn, I forgot. WNBA starts today. And yes, I would have looked at it if I had time, but I didn't have time, so I didn't. But, WNBA is it's still profitable, in my opinion, but you can't do broad stroke statistical analysis of it, in my opinion. You have to follow every day and know the nuances and the ins and outs of every team. But for people who do that, it's as profitable as ever. All right, shout out Drew Skiliosa, Mustache Pete. Yeah, this might be gone soon, but all right, we got to Rob McMahon. Shout out to everyone. We got a lot of games that we got to cover, and I'm a little bit behind, so I got to look into everything. But we did talk about this the whole card last night, and it'll be interesting to see where the lines have moved. The one thing that I did like, I said that I liked Dollander going up against Philly. His over strikeouts at 4.5, even at a big favorite line. And AM told us he thinks Dollander is going to get scorched. Which, if that happens, it still doesn't mean his strikeouts prop cashing is out of the question. But I did predict that it would be 5.5, juice to the under by today, and that has happened. And in fact, it was plus 115, now plus 105. So it's going up and up and up. So we'll see where a bunch of these lines have moved from last night. Let me just pull everything up so I can look at Chris, look at everything in terms of the weather that we have to pay attention to. So that's pretty good. And of course, last night, if you didn't catch it, TJ told us that he loves the Anaheim Ducks today again. Now, I screwed up the first game in that series, liking the over, nailed the second game, liking Anaheim in a few different ways. And then for game 3, I was just kind of trying to figure out what I think, what I might be liking. But TJ and a bunch of other people in the comment section last night basically saying, don't overthink it and take Anaheim again. So I haven't even checked to see where that line has moved. All right, let me peek. Where is it moved? Yeah, not much. All right, looks like Anaheim's a tiny favorite again. All right, we will talk about that. We're going to have to keep a brisk pace. I got to get all my notes here and everything. Everyone in the comment section, get your notes together, and we will have a nice time. Let me pull up Pinnacle here. I do like to check Pinnacle for a lot of stuff. Let's see. Here we go. Let me get this one. LB. Okay. Smiths. Here we go. Sorry, we're taking a little bit of time, but that's okay because you can get your notes together. And shout out to Oldie. All right. I love to see it. Oldie, Tasmanian Devil, baby. All right. Okay. All right. We're ready to start. Let's go. MLB. First game on the card, Houston and Cincinnati. Burrows against Lodolo. Now, Lodolo, of course, nice major league pitcher, and he was on the disabled list for a blister. Blisters are tricky, They can linger. Of course, they can be under the radar and really mess up your mechanics and everything, or they can just go away and a pitcher can be, completely back to normal. My thought, Lodolo did have a AAA start where he seemed like he was okay. His control was okay, through strikes, through a slider, and seems like things should be okay for Lodolo here. Not exactly sure how deep they're expecting him to go. I think he's going to be all right. In the show last night, I didn't make any official plays on this one, but I did say that I was in general leaning to Cincinnati, leaning to maybe Houston first 5 team total under. One other thing I did take a shot with was Burrows over 4.5 hits at minus 165. There's a bunch of props that I took in this one. So let me pull up a Pinnacle and see what everything is here. So yeah, Burrows, I think Burrows should have another start where he goes kind of deep, maybe gets strikeouts, gives up hits, gives up some runs, which is kind of the way it goes. Statistically, I like Burrows to over 4.5 hits, even at a big favorite line, but I also kind of liked, over 4.5 strikeouts for him as well at a similar line. So let's see where these lines are now. We're gonna have to keep a brisk pace when it comes to. All right, so now Lodolo's outs prop is about 15.5, juiced a little bit to the under, so he should go kind of deep. I think he's gonna be all right here. Lodolo. What is Houston? What is Cincinnati? Although Cincinnati also has a bullpen edge, so I'd be liking Cincinnati full game and first five here. And of course, hold on, where are we? Yeah, of course, Cincinnati is returning from a 7-game road trip where they lost all 7. So that's not good. But, Houston, they were off yesterday, off a blowout loss to the Dodgers, and they're no great shakes. So I'm definitely leaning up Cincinnati in general. And let me see. All right, let's look at where the line is moved. We're going to have to keep brisk pace. Let's see. It looks like about 3/4 of the bets on Houston, and the line has moved in Houston's favor a bit. Not huge, but about 7 or 8 cents from opening. That's a little surprising because it did get all the way up to close to minus 140 at Chris, and now it's 15 cents lower at Chris. So that is pretty interesting to my eye. Not exactly sure what to make of it. Maybe Lodolo won't be that good. I don't know. All right, I definitely like in Burrows over 4.5 hits. Let's see, what's that? And that'll be minus 163 at Pinnacle. Yeah, I was also leaning his strikeouts prop, although a little, and now it's up to 5.5 at plus money. So I'll hold off on that one. And you know what? I'll go against the line move here. If Cincinnati wins this one, this will be epic, an epic call here. But I think I'm about to shock the world by taking a minus 120 favorite. I'll make Cincinnati minus. I'll make the Reds minus 122 at Chris right now. We'll use that one. Full game Reds minus 122, an official play. I'm about to shock the world with a call for a small favorite to cash. Watch it cash. And as far as Lodolo props are concerned, not going to pull the trigger on any of those. Adding Burrows over 4.5 hits, minus 163, and lean to Burrows over 15.5 outs at minus 120, and strikeouts over 4.5 at like minus 150 as well. But those are just leads. The only official ones are Burrows hits and Cincinnati full game money line. Burrows a strikeouts prop. Yeah, no, it's up to 5.5. So all right, let's look at the comments section. Let's see. AM says Astros are lefty killers. 2 struggling bullpens lean over the total here, and I do think that I do believe that the total's gotten bet up. What I saw. Let's see. Let's just quickly check. We're gonna have to keep a. Oh no, actually, from opening. Yeah, the initial moves were definitely to the over. Now though, it's down at Chris. Now it's about 13 cents moved to the under from opening. And it got all the way up to like 9 minus 135 at Chris. Now it's 9 minus 104. The crash back down. So I understand AM's liking the over. I would probably be leaning under here, but I understand why AM's liking the over. Saying they're lefty killers, but if Lodolo is come back and is on his game, I don't know if they're going to be able to kill him. Maybe we'll see. But and look at that, about 80% of the bets are on the over, and the total has dropped. I'm liking the under here. AM, to be perfectly honest with you, under 9 minus 150 minus 110. That's not a pick, but that's a lean. Just because of the way the market is going. All right, we got to keep a brisk pace, and let's move on. Next game on the MLB card, Colorado Philly. Here we talked about this, and AM went straight up against me. I was like, I like the Dollander over 4.5 strikeouts at minus 164. That is a bet I made. That's a pick I made. And Dollander and AM said Dollander's going to get smoked. And again, that could happen, and he could still get 5 or 6 strikeouts. But it's now gone up. It's now up to about 5.5, almost up at even money now for him. And of course, Philly's a huge favorite here. Luzardo, very up and down, but very high volatility. But last 2 starts, absolutely awesome. And so he might do it again. Philly, of course, great bump after the managerial change, but they lost their last game to the A's 12-1, but in general, they've still been great. Colorado lost a bunch in a row, beat the Mets yesterday. Now they travel all the way across country to Philly. So the only official thing for me is Dollander over 4.5 strikeouts at minus 164. Although now it's up to let's see where it is at Penny. Yeah, all right, 5.5 plus 119. So not that crazy. And I also got a shot with his outs prop at 15.5 minus 129, and now it's up to 16.5. Juice to the under, but so it's moved up a little bit as well. But let's see. He could easily, no, he couldn't get scorched and get to 17 and get to 16 or 17 outs. But he could get touched up a bit and get that high. We'll see. Philly, a big favorite. Let's look at the line move, and then we're gonna have to keep a brisk pace. And wow, so it's moved. Moved more in Philly's direction. Opened at Chris at like 208. Now it's up to 228. So a 20-cent move, which is understandable. Colorado has been slumping. Philly, of course, great off the big loss, and now you got Luzardo going. Well, Luzardo's awesome. And then the total. Let's see what happened there. Total. Let's see if anything. Yep, about 20-cent move to the under. So the market, at least, believing that Dollander won't give up 8, at least, market is saying that. Definitely a 20-cent move to the under, which is interesting, which I would agree with my lean this year. I'm definitely thinking under maybe. So I was definitely thinking under maybe. And again, 70% of the bets on the over, but the total has dropped down. And you know what? I'll make that an official one too. I know that AM is not high on the Colorado starter, but even after the move, I'll make that one an official one as well. 7.5 under minus 125. We'll take that one. There's it's 128 at Chris, 125 at some other places. I'll add that one on to the Dollander over strikeouts prop. And as far as the side is concerned, I'm not going to touch it. We'll look at the comment section, and then we'll move on just because we do have to keep a brisk pace. Yep, there you go. And AM backing up his opinion. We'll see how it turns out. He says he has left-handed hitter problems. He does very well against right-handed heavy lineups like the Pods, Mets, Astros. Philly's the wrong lineup and a fly ball profile and wind blowing to right field. Yeah, I didn't see really blowing out, though. I looked again. Shout out AOD. Shout out AOD. Shout out to you, AM. Man. That's what I love. Back and forth. AM, I'm afraid to contradict someone or to say I think they're wrong. AM doesn't give a fuck. They'll just be like, nope. He's bad against lefties. He's likely to get hit here. All right. Next game on the card is the A's and Baltimore. Lopez against Bradish. Both these starting pitchers struggling. Last night, I did say that I made an official play with a run in the first, yes, at minus 130. I think you can get a little bit better right now. Of course, the A's beat Philly 12-1 yesterday. Baltimore returns from a trip. They got swept in 4 at the Yankees, but then won 2 of 3 at Miami. Lost their last one. I did add a prop. I definitely took a shot with Lopez over 4.5 hits at minus 125. Definitely liking that one. Let's see where that one is at Penny right now. But I definitely took that one. A little bit surprised to see it. Pulled the trigger on Lopez over 4.5 hits at minus 125. And now it's all right. Let me see. We are going to keep a brisk pace, people. Believe that. Believe that. Let's see. Lopez hits allowed. Yeah. Oh wow, 147 at Pinnacle right now. You can get better, I think, at places like, Season, FanDuel, whatever. I got minus 125, but I'm definitely liking that one. That's an official one. Run in the first, yes, minus 130. You can get much better than that other places, but that I made official last night. And as far as the side is concerned, a lot of people in the comment section last night were saying they were leaning up the A's as a dog. I was thinking the Orioles might be the play, even though the Orioles are back off of a big trip. Let's see where this line has moved. Let's see. Line movement at Chris. All right. Yeah, just an 8-cent move from opening towards the A's. Opened at plus 125. Now it's plus 117. There was some bouncing around here. When the limits opened, yeah, it looks like not much happened. Not much noteworthy happened. All right. So the A's were a modest favorite, plus 125. Now they're plus 117. I can understand that. But once again, maybe I'll try to shock the world twice on one card with a small favorite and take Baltimore money line. I don't know. It looks like about 2/3 of the bets are on the A's, but the line has moved in their favor since opening. And as far as the total is concerned, it's moved up. Almost a half run. Not a surprise there. Let's see what people in the comment section have to say. And AM says this A's bullpen has definitely been horrific. Lean over. Okay. I will take all right. I'm going to try to shock the world twice on the same card with small favorites, calling for small favorites to actually win. And I'll make Baltimore an official play here at the current line minus, all right, I'll take the Chris line, minus 133. We'll make that official along with Lopez over hits and run in the first. And AM talking about the A's bullpen, which makes him like the over, although even if you just look at the starting pitchers, you might be liking the over just for that reason alone. So very nice look there, AM. All right, let's move on. Next game, Angels in Toronto. Detmers against Dylan Cease. Toronto is a pretty decent-sized favorite here. Angels, terrible this year. Suddenly they've won 2 in a row. The Jays are back home. They split a 4-game set at Minnesota and then got swept at Tampa Bay. Detmers is very up and down. You know, when he's good, he'll give you double-digit strikeouts and or no-hitter or a one-hitter. When he's off his game, he gives up a few runs and doesn't get that many strikeouts. And I did take a shot with Detmers under 5.5 strikeouts at minus 121. That is a low number in light of how good he can be when he's on his game. When he's on his game, he gets a lot of strikeouts. But I think more likely than not, this is not going to be one of his top starts. And so I took a shot with Detmers under 5.5 strikeouts. And we'll see. Let's see where that is. And right now, about minus 121, 122 at Pinnacle. So that's an official thing for me. Could lose, but I think it's a nice little percentage play. And then the Cease strikeouts prop is high, over 7.5. Last time against the Angels, he went 5 innings and got 12 strikeouts. That could happen again. And couldn't pull the trigger on Toronto as that big of a favorite. So the only thing I took was the Detmers strikeout prop. Let's see where this line has moved from opening. About 3/4 of the bets on the Angels. Not much of a move though. In fact, about just a very teeny 4-cent move towards Toronto. So it's bounced around a bit. Looks like the majority of the bets coming in on the Angels, but that makes me think that Toronto might be the play here. I can't pull the trigger on it at the line, but Toronto might be the play here. And the total, about 70% of the tickets on the over, and it's dropped down about 5 or 7 cents at Chris. So maybe I would be leaning Toronto and the under. That certainly would make sense here. Not going to pull the trigger on either of those, but that's interesting from a market perspective. Coin likes the under 7.5. Yep. Shout out Joey T MMA. Hell yeah. And AM says, I was really close to this under, but for my own personal mental health, I can't play unders with this Angels bullpen. I hear you, man. I do hear you. Wine Time likes the over 9.5 in the last game. All right, so for me, just the Detmers line, and would be leaning under, and Toronto. Definitely can't pull the trigger on either one of those. All right, next game on the card is Tampa Bay, Boston. Schulten's against Early. I'm seeing at RotoWire, Schulten's as an opener and Englert as a primary, but I don't think that's the case because his outs prop is 15.5. So market's telling us he's not going to be an opener here. Early has been good, but did get hit in his last start, his worst of the season. Tampa Bay won again yesterday, 8-4. They're absolutely rolling, right? Sometimes they put up a bunch of runs. Sometimes they win a 2-1 or 3-1 game, just winning. Game in and game out. Boston, kind of 50-50. Early, pretty good, but definitely trending in the wrong direction. Schulten's overall has been not bad this year. 1 dud, but career-wise not very good. And I don't really think he's going to be anything great here. I didn't take a bet on this one, and my only lean was to the over 8.5 at as a like minus 105 or so. Let's see if this line has moved, if it's moved at all. Tends to always move in Tampa Bay's favor. And this one, no, it's exactly where it was at opening. Boston minus 127, Tampa Bay plus 113. That's where it opened. That's where it is right now, though, after getting all the way up to like 144 at like 11 o'clock last night, and then came crashing down right around midnight. And then when the totals opened, just bounced both directions. So this is a weird one. I don't think the market's really telling us anything notable, and it's right where it was when it opened. Let's look at the total, see if the total has moved at all. About a 6 or 7 cent move to the over from opening. Oh, this one also at Chris got all the way up to 9, and then came back down to 8.5, and now it's almost even on both sides. All right, so this is a complete pass for me. If it gave me a free play, I'd put it on the over. Why not? but it's going to be a complete pass for me. AM says Rays struggle with left-handed pitching. All right. I'm sure in their last 20 games, they've seen a bunch of left-hand. They just figure out a way to win. No, but I hear you, AM. And Early's a good lefty, even if he's been a little bit less good recently. Shout out AOD. AM says Red Sox should be bigger faves, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I was. Coin likes Tampa Bay money line plus 113. I'm usually leaning Tampa Bay, and when I'm not, that usually tells me that the other side actually does have value. I'm just afraid to fade Tampa Bay. I definitely am not a big believer in Schultens here. If anything, I might be leaning a Red Sox team total over. But yeah, total pass for me as far as this one is concerned. Next game on the card, Washington, Miami. This is a very interesting one because Miami is starting a big league debut, Snelling, this guy on the mound, and he was just absolutely awesome. We talked about this in last night's show. Absolutely awesome in AAA this year, also in spring training, also in AAA last year. This guy has big numbers. His hit rate is very low. He gets a lot of grounders and a lot of strikeouts. His big thing is that he has control issues, which, will matter a lot more in the majors, and his stuff might not necessarily be good enough to, it's possible that Snelling could be a guy who dominates AAA just like he's been doing. A lot of walks, doesn't really matter, ton of strikeouts. And when he comes up to the majors, his strikeouts go down, his command issues matter a lot more, and he gets hit a bit. So this is a complete pass for me. I did have a slight lean to Griffin over 4.5 strikeouts at plus money for Washington. He's been mostly excellent so far this year, kind of a late career bloomer for him. First 3 starts this year were great. 3 of his last 4 were not that good, but the one that was good was great. So that's not a pick, but lean to Griffin over 4.5 strikeouts at plus money. And as far as the side is concerned, total pass for me. I suspect that Snelling might have some issues, although if he comes in here and goes 7 innings, gets a bunch of grounders, 6 strikeouts, 2 or 3 walks, and gives up no runs, that will not be a shock in the slightest. Let's see where the market has moved on this one, and then and I'll look at the comment section, and we'll move. Whoa, a big move to Miami. Look at that. Holy crap. A 20-cent move to Miami. So someone is believing in Snelling big time. Look at that. Wow. Holy crap. Opened at minus 117. And then this morning, yep, just jumped all the way up to now it's minus 138. So a 20-cent move in favor of Miami. And the total, I'm guessing, is not moved at all. And that's right. It's a 4-cent move to the under from opening. So that's all expecting just Snelling to be good. Okay. I guess I would agree with that more than not, but I'm not going to pull the trigger on it. Miami probably is a good bet. Rob McMahon likes Snelling over strikeouts from 4. Is that all it is? 4.5? I didn't see that line, but all right. Man, it is tempting to take a shot with Miami here, but I just can't do it. I can't do it with a big league debut. Big league debut. And Washington has some bats, and Foster Griffin's okay. All right, let's move on. We got to keep brisk pace. Minnesota and Cleveland. Pre-lip against Messick. There was some rain in the forecast, but it looks like it's going to be okay. Minnesota lost 2 of 3 in their last series at Washington. Cleveland back from a 7-game trip, 4-3 on that one. They won their last 2. And pre-lip been decent, short appearances. Messick, good, getting strikeouts. Started out the year great, and more recently has come back down to earth. Cleveland has a significant bullpen edge, I think, over Minnesota. So that will matter when you have 2 starters here who are not likely to go deep. So, maybe Minnesota first 5, Cleveland full game leans, although Messick is certainly good. I think I'm going to pass completely on this one. Pre-lip had an outs prop of 14.5, but very, very big favorite line, and he could definitely leave it after 4 innings or 4 1/3. So I'm going to pass on that one. Messick had a kind of a high strikeout prop. Pre-lip is pretty good. 4.5 hits under, minus 139 maybe, but all those just a complete pass. I guess lean Minnesota first 5 as a dog, Cleveland full game, maybe. But those are just thoughts mostly, and I'm just going to completely pass on it as far as recommended plays and as far as leans are concerned. Absolutely nothing on that one. We are going to look at the comments section. Looks like about 80% of the bets here on Minnesota. No real market move, though. Bounced around, though. Wow, okay. At Chris, it did get up to like minus 152, and now it's back to 138. So opened at 135, got all the way up to 152, and then came back down to minus 138. So a 14-cent move back towards Minnesota from the high. And that would tell me that maybe Minnesota first 5 is a decent play. Let's look at the total, and then we'll move on. Here we go. Where are we going here? Let's look at the total, then we'll move on. Yeah, the total's gotten bet up. Oh no, sorry, bet down. More than a half run, a little bit more than a half run. Look at that. So Prelip probably is going to have a decent start here. So his outs prop over 14.5 is probably pretty good. And maybe Minnesota first 5 as well. All right, so a clear move towards recent move towards Minnesota, clear overall market move towards the under, more than a half run, which makes sense. That's how I was leaning as well, towards the under, and probably the first 5 under might be worth a shot. All these things are now looking pretty good to me. Let me see what's got to keep a brisk damn pace here, but Connor Prelip, yeah, he doesn't have at Pinnacle. There's no outs prop. And the first 5 under, what would that be? Let's look at this. The first 5 under. Yeah, 4 minus 123, 4.5 minus 161. All right, going to be a pass for me, but all those looking pretty decent. Let's look at the comments section. Coin liking the under, 7.5 minus 115. I would definitely be leaning that way. Jermaine, yeah, there you go. First 3 under, 2.5. I do have that in my notes here, don't I? Yeah, first 3 under, maybe first 5 under, full game under. And maybe Minnesota first 5. All those are things I'm thinking about. Probably 1 or 2 of those I'll wind up pulling the trigger on, but we don't have time to think about it more than that. So there you go. That's a breakdown of that game. Next game on the card, Detroit and KC. We did talk about this last night, and I gave the opinion that Bubic has had 3 subpar starts, 4 awesome starts so far this year. His last 3, both on the road, were both awesome. His last starts were both on the road and both awesome. And I thought he was going to have, if not a good start, not a great start here, at least a good one where he's likely to go 6. So I did take a shot with his outs prop over 17.5 minus 124 last night, but I saw market wide that's going the other direction. So that's not a very nice thing to see. Detroit, of course, Detroit got swept at home by Boston, so they're not great, but they're not that bad. And KC had been rolling, then lost their last 2 at home to Cleveland. I think I might be still liking Bubic over 17.5 outs, though, although I'm definitely concerned about the market move. Let's see where this one is at. Yeah. Ooh, oh, my God. Wow. Now it's juiced to the under. Minus 123 at Pinnacle, minus 107. All right. I made a bad bet. It happens. I can't take it back now. I made it last night, so hopefully we'll get bailed out. Hopefully we can give us 6 innings, 3 runs, and 102 pitches, and they leave him in there for the 6th. He gets a couple outs, and they just pull him out. All right, pull it out. All right, let's see where this line is moved, if at all. Let's look at this. Where are we? Chris. Okay, but then you got 85% of the tickets apparently on Detroit. But the line's moved about 8 cents in KC's favor. So what's that all about? Sharps liking Bubic, but not to go deep? Maybe so. Line got all the way up it opened at 133, got all the way up to 147, and now has dropped down a little bit recently, but just a small move down. Still higher for KC than it was when it opened. And then this is another one I was thinking maybe under with, but let's see where the total has moved. Yep. About an 8-cent move from opening towards the under. It opened at 8.5. Under was plus 102. Now it's minus 106. So a small move to the under. All right. I don't know, man. I was thinking maybe a nice KC spot on the money line. Bubic over 17.5 outs is already an official play, but that has moved against me. Let's see if anyone has anything on this one in the comments section. Jermaine likes Bubic over, I think. Yeah, 6 and over 5.5 strikeouts. So Jermaine likes Bubic at least have a nice strikeout start, if not to go deep. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Let's move on. Next one, very interesting one. Tell us what you think. Comment section. Yankees and Milwaukee. Fried against Mizorowski. Fried, of course, is either literally lights out or gives up 3 or more runs so far this year. Mizorowski, off his best start of the year at Washington, he got 8 strikeouts, and he was throwing a no-hitter until he had some hamstring issues, and they had to take him out. So how's he going to do against the Yankees here? The Yankees off another high-run margin win. Just did it again. They're winning almost every game. Not every game, but almost every game. usually putting up 8 or 9, usually winning by 5 or 6. Really impressive. How long will that last? Milwaukee, they've actually won 6 of their last 3. They got Vaughn back, so they're getting a little bit better. A few things I did take. First of all, I know Mizorowski can sometimes have good, great, or lights out starts that go 5 innings or less, but I took a shot with him over 15.5 outs at plus money. Hopefully he won't go 5 innings and get 14 strikeouts, and then they'll pull him because his pitch count is so high. But I took a shot at plus money. I took a shot with it. Let's pull up the pinnacle lines on this one, and then definitely, Milwaukee, first 3, first 5 are tempting as hell. First 3 under 2.5 minus 150 or so, tempting as hell, right? All those lean / tempting as hell. Let's see where Mizorowski's outs prop is right now. Yeah, plus 111, plus 109 pinnacle, about plus 110 other places. All right. And you got to think that Mizorowski is going to be pretty good here. So if Fried is his 3-run, if the free run version of Fried throws up, then you got it. If the 0-run version of Fried shows up, then you're probably still live if you take a plus half run, right? If you take that, let's see, first half, Milwaukee, first half plus a half, minus 145. Man, that is freaking tempting, isn't it? Ooh, that is tempting. I'll make that official. That's risky, though. Mizorowski can give up runs. Fried, of course, when he's good, is lights out. I'll make that official. Brewers, first 5, plus a half, minus 145. Let's see if the comment section's slamming me for that. Jermaine says Brewers trash versus lefties. Yeah, they've got some more life to them now, though. They don't hit home runs, so we'll see. I'll take a shot with both of those, and the first 5 and first 3 unders are also very, very tempting. And you know what? I will add on first 3 under, 2.5 minus 150. That's an official play as well. Official play as well. Okay, interesting stuff here. Let's look at where we got to keep Brisbane away. Let's look at where the market has moved on this one. Where is it? Where's the damn line? Where's the market moved? All right, let's see. Okay, so it looks like wagers, and it's moved about 10 or 12 cents in Milwaukee's favor from opening, and got all the way down to plus 104. I think, didn't I say that in the? Got all the way down to plus 100. Wow, so it got way far down. Got all the way down to plus 100, and now it's come back towards the Yankees. The late movement, about a 15-cent move towards the Yankees almost. So that's interesting. Still 10 cents lower than where it opened, but the late movement has been towards the Yankees. And let's look at this total. Has got to have at least gotten bet down, right? No, gotten bet up. Now it's 7.5 juice to the. All right, so we'll see. Maybe Mizorowski does get hit. Maybe he comes in 4 innings, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts. That'll suck, but all right. I'll have to eat the loss. Thomas Maggio likes the over. AM leans under. And we could talk about that a little bit more. We got to move on. Next one, Seattle White Sox. I might have made a mistake on the show. Last night, I did give the White Sox officially full game at plus 122. Hancock against Sean Burke. Hancock, of course, coming off a 14 strikeout start at KC. I don't know if that's really who he is, even though strikeouts are up this year. Sean Burke also been great recently. 2 straight shutout starts, 13 innings, and no walks. And I took a shot with the White Sox here at plus money. Seattle struggled a little bit at home. They now head back on the road. They went 5-1 in their last road trip. And the White Sox are returning from the West Coast. They split the 6 games in that road trip, lost the last 2. I probably made a mistake taking the White Sox at plus 122, but we're going to go with it. Definitely going to go with it. I did, though, add on Burke over 15.5 outs at even money. I do like that one. Not exactly sure why it's so low. I mean, obviously, Seattle has a lineup that can chase a guy, but I did take a shot with that. Burke over 15.5 outs at even money plus 100. Definitely liking that one. And that's about it. We'll see where this line is moved. I'm very interested to see where this line is moved. Almost no movement from opening. Some bouncing around, bounce down, bounce up, bounce down, bounce up, and now it's White Sox plus 120 market wide. So that's not a very good sign. If the White Sox was the right side, I would expect them to be like plus 108 right now. And the total has also gotten bet up a half run, or almost a half run, which is not a great sign. Opened at 7.5, juiced over to plus 122. Let me make sure I have the right game here. Yep. And now it's 8 on both sides. So that's not a very good sign either. All right, we'll see how it shakes out. Let's see. AM lean Seattle. Burke, I think, gets hit up here. All right. Well, the market, certainly seems to not necessarily be suggesting that, but definitely not suggesting that Burke's going to be good. No real move. And if the White Sox had value at home, we would have seen him down into the plus 105 range, and the total's gotten bet up, which also is not a good sign if Burke was going to be good. So you might be right there, AM. You might be right there. Okay. Next game on the card. We do have to keep up brisk pace here. Cubs in Texas. Tell me what you think. Ben Brown is going to be pitching for the Cubs. Not exactly sure how deep he's going to go here. He's not listed as an opener, but his pitching props indicate he's not going to go deep. Then you got Kumar Rocker on the other side. Hit hard in his last appearance at Detroit. Before that, he was not too bad, actually, though. And the Cubs, of course, absolutely rolling. They've now run 9 in a row. Now they head out on the road. Just a phenomenal lineup. Who knows what's going to happen here? But Texas returns a 6-game trip. They lost 2 or 3 in each series. So you got Cubs, dominant, rolling, awesome. Texas, middling at best, underwhelming right now. And that's about it. My only thought on this one, slightly into Rocker, over 3.5 strikeouts at minus 137. But even that is definitely just a lean. Not an official recommendation, but a lean. Texas was a home dog to start. Total was 8.5, juice to the over. And let's see if this has moved at all. Yeah, it looks like, yep. Oh, wow. Wow. 15-cent move towards Texas. Now they're, is this right? Wow. It looks like they're plus 120 now. I mean, sorry, plus 106. And that was a recent move in the last 20 minutes or so. At 5 o'clock, they're plus 120. Now dropped down to plus 106. Texas is probably the side here. Although I'm not going to pull the trigger on it. That is a lean, though, because of what the market has done. And the total has also dropped. So Rocker will probably be all right, maybe. Open to 8.5, almost even on both sides, and then drop down to 8. So that is very interesting. Texas probably the right side. We'll look at the comments here. And then let's move on. Next game on the card, Mets in Arizona. McLean against Nelson. McLean has been good, but not lights out. Last 3 a bit less good. Still getting a ton of strikeouts, though. And Nelson, overall numbers bad. Has had a few good starts this year, though. But he's been really bad at home. And a huge home road dichotomy for him. Tiny sample size, but still it's there. And I did read that the roof is going to be open tonight. And no wind, but temperature in the mid-90s. I think that's all accurate. So in that case, makes me very nervous to take pitcher props because that's a kind of unique environment to be pitching in. Could unexpectedly help them or hurt them, and they didn't have time to dig into it. Maybe a slight lean, though, to McLean under 17.5 outs at minus 114. Of course, he can be good, but even sometimes when he's good, he runs up high pitch counts, and it should be hot, so maybe he'll get a little bit sweaty and tired or whatever. Let's see where this line has moved, and then we will move on. Damn, we got 3 more games, and then we got the playoff games to talk to. So we're going to have to go a little bit fast here, but this is a very interesting one. Definitely want to see where the market has moved on this stuff. Let's see. Where's McLean? Yep, that's 17.5 outs, even on both sides. I would be leaning under. That's just going to be a lean, though. Definitely not an official play. And it looks like the market has moved heavily in Arizona's favor from opening. Yeah, about a 15-cent move in favor of Arizona. Again, got all the way down to like plus 106. And now jump back 5 cents up further, but a clear market move from opening in favor of Arizona. And when the limits opens, looks like early morning it dropped down. So Arizona's probably the play here again. If you take Arizona and Texas, probably at least one of them win as tiny dogs. A move to the over. About a 15-cent move to the over, which I would also kind of agree with. Let's look at the comments section. Let's see. And Coin says lean Arizona money line. Rob McMahon says Troy Torrance, where are you? Need the goal. Troy Torrance here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you get me. This week has been down, but the week before this and the week before that, we're friggin' awesome. All right, so next game on the card is St. Louis and San Diego. McGreevy against Canning. San Diego, pretty big favorite here, home favorite. St. Louis won again yesterday, 2-1, in general, playing well and winning. Odds kind of 50-50, kind of mediocre. Can came back. First start of the year was pretty good. Got decent strikeouts, had some walks and a home run, but 5 innings and nice strikeouts. That was a nice first start for Canning. McGreevy, been good overall. He doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, and he's clearly gotten a benefit from being at home, although at San Diego, he might get a similar benefit. And I did take a shot with McGreevy under 5.5 hits at minus 113. San Diego could pop him for a little bit, but not a big favorite line there. Took a shot with McGreevy under 5.5 hits, minus 113. And I also took a shot with Canning over 15.5 outs at a big dog line, plus 132. Didn't understand why it was, but that's happened a lot this year. Some pitching props, especially like outs props. I'm not really understanding why the lines are where they are. And then it turns out that, my picks and bets were right more often than nothing. Let's see. Yeah. Pinnacle right now. Yeah. 15.5 plus 130 for Canning over. That looks like it might have a little bit of value. And then McGreevy also under 5.5 hits. Yeah. At minus 113. As far as the side is concerned, a little tough. Feels like it should be, St. Louis playing that well should not be that big of a dog, right? About 2/3 of the bets on St. Louis, not a mark. Yeah, line has moved in their favor though. About 3 cents from opening at Chris, bouncing around. Got up to like 160 for San Diego, now down to 144. So it has come down. It's come down a little bit, but that wasn't after the limits expanded though. So going to be a pass for me as far as the side is concerned. And the total has actually gotten bet up almost a half run, which is very interesting in light of the two teams, two pitchers that are involved. All right. Let's see. Okay. Going to be a pass for me. Again, I did take 2 risky props, McGreevy under 5.5 hits and Canning over 15.5 outs at big plus money, plus 130. Took a shot with it. Can't explain why it's that high. Next game on the card. Tell us what you think. Atlanta against the Dodgers. Chris Sale against Sheehan, right? Dodgers a favorite. Sale absolutely lights out this year except for one dud against the Angels at LA. Every other start this year absolutely lights out, including his last one at Coors. 7 innings, 11 strikeouts. He's just a friggin' stud. Now, though, he comes into the Dodgers, and he's curiously not done well against the Dodgers in his career and not done well against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. And he's coming off a Coors start. I'm not sure if this is a really nice spot to be taking Sale. Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. I did take Sheehan over 4.5 hits at plus 115. Didn't understand at all. His volume's down. He's all right. He's still getting strikeouts. He still can go deep, but he's definitely a little bit vulnerable right now. Didn't understand why his hits prop was so low, and I took that one over 4.5 hits at plus 115 hits for Sheehan. And Sale's hits prop was kind of high as well. In light is 5.5 juice to the under, but still in light of how great he's been. So, this is going to be a pass for me, except for the Sheehan hits prop 4.5 over at plus money. And we'll quickly look at the market here. Yeah, it looks like right where it opened at Chris. Opened at Dodgers 120, Atlanta plus 106. Some bouncing around, but nothing huge. And that's so some bouncing around, but nothing, no big moves, no big bounces in that game at all. And if Sale and the Dodgers, if the Sharps liked Sale here, that would definitely, Atlanta would be a favorite now, or minus 110 on both sides. Total, 10-cent move to the under, which I can understand. Sale is great, but he's coming off a great Coors start. He's had weird issues at Dodger Stadium in his career. And I'm going to pass on this one, except for the Sheehan hits prop. Let's see. There you go. Plus 115. All right, let's look at the comment section, and then we'll rock on. Thomas Maggio, Eileen Braves, hope you cash. Coin LV says Dodgers feel live here. Hope you cash, although that's probably impossible for both of you to cash. AM says, got a feeling this Sale's over. Yeah, I mean, Sheehan, I don't expect to. I thought about Atlanta team total over, but I held off on that one as well. And Sale, historically, if this one Sale's over, that will not go against Sale's historic record against the Dodgers and at Dodger Stadium. Jermaine, shout out. All right. And the last game on the card, I think we're just going to skip it because I don't know what's going on here. Robbie Ray was the listed pitcher for San Francisco, but then there was no line at books, and the pitcher was to be determined, and I couldn't find out who the pitcher was at RotoWire. It kept on saying Ray, 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 and when I checked, the sites, it was saying there was no name listed. So I just have nothing on this game at all, and I think we should. I think let's just pass on it. Let's see if we even have still Robbie Ray at RotoWire. He's not starting, is he? Is he? You guys know anything about this game? I'm going to pass on this one. Let's just skip it. Too weird. Very weird. Let's see if anyone's got anything listed. If you guys can see anything about who is starting for San Francisco, that'll certainly be I would like to know. Not that I'm going to do anything about it, but I'd just be interested to see who it is. Let's see. I'm not all right. Yeah. We only got 10 minutes, 12 minutes to go through the rest of the game. So, yeah, to be determined. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, that's it. We're going to skip that game. All right, now we got only a few minutes left to go, but we got 4 very interesting playoff games. Tell us what you think about all these, everyone. Thankfully, they'll go quick as far as I'm concerned because I just don't have much to say about any of them. Well, except for Spurs first half, maybe. First game, Knicks and Philly, right? Knicks and Philly. Philly was a small home favorite. First time I saw it, of course. The Knicks crushed them in game 1, and then they won game 2, but it was tighter. Philly did cash the first half spread. I'm so pissed that I didn't allow myself to go for that one. And of course, some injury issues for the Knicks, right? OG is out. Anunoby's out. Hart injured, but he'll probably be okay. Some talk about Deuce McBride maybe starting, and their numbers are great with him in. Last I checked, Embiid questionable. So I don't even know. Let me check. Let me check now. Let's see if Embiid is in or not. I can probably just look at the line and find out whether Embiid is in. But yeah, whether Embiid, no matter where the line is moved, no matter whether Embiid is in or out, I am not going to be betting this game personally. I'll be interested to hear to see what you guys have to say. Still questionable. Still questionable. To try, expected to try and play. Okay, he's definitely going to try to play. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So Sixers line moved a lot, is what Thomas Maggio is saying. That tells me that probably Embiid is in. Doesn't tell me how long he's going to be playing for, though. Wow. Okay. I'm seeing. Yeah, it's all over the place. What is this? Yep. It's about, yeah. Okay. So now it's up to 2.5. Juice towards Philly at Chris. Man, even if Embiid's in, I don't see that line. How can that be? How can the Knicks be a dog? Look, the Knicks aren't going to win every game, but how can they be a dog against Philly, even at Philly? I don't get it. I would be free play, would definitely be Knicks. Total has not moved at all. There's like a half-point move to the under from opening, but not much movement on the total, but a big move towards Philly. What do you guys think about this one? Truth Teller says, I'm on Sixers money line, parlayed with a tennis that cashed. Okay. Hope you cash. It's up to 3. Sweetie says up to 3.5 for Philly now. Let me look. Use an odd screen. Let me log in here. Yeah, 3.5. Well, how many people are out? Is Hart out or something? Even so, that's just a ridiculous line, I think. I mean, it's obviously personnel based, but hey, I don't know. Yep, there you go. 3.5 Sixers. Wow. All right. Okay. 3.5. Great. I'm not gonna. I didn't see anyone in the comment section on the Knicks, so I'm gonna be rooting for Philly. But he no ball. Shout out he no ball. Yeah, Anunoby's out, but we knew that though. That's not recent news, right? We knew that before, right? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, truth tellers on the Sixers, and is anyone else on the Sixers? I don't know. Okay. I'm going to be rooting for the Sixers. Total pass, though. Fully admit it makes me nervous. All right. Next game is Spurs in Minnesota. First line I saw was Spurs -4. Of course, Minnesota got game 1. Spurs blew them out in game 2. And I said last night, I'd have to be Spurs here or nothing. Maybe just first half, maybe out of fear, money lines. And look, it is headed up even further now. It's 5, juice towards 5.5 a little bit for the Spurs. And yeah, Minnesota, that's an impressive team, but the Spurs smoked them in game 2. And even though it's now on the road, the Spurs should be able to continue. Although I have a bad record of this year taking small road money line favorites in the play. Well, I did it only once, but it was extremely embarrassing, especially because the Pistons wound up winning that game by double digits, and the game was way low scoring, like I predicted. I took them first half money line, they lost. So I'd be leaning Spurs first half -2.5 or 2 -120. First half money line is 166. So that's a little bit no. It'll be first half. Spurs should roll. Thomas Maggio, I agree. Spurs. Nothing on the total for me, but definitely leaning Spurs hard here. I'm gonna pass on this total though, and I did have the Spurs team total overs in game 2, first half and full game. Man, I would love to pull the trigger on Spurs first half officially. It's just creeping up there. I really want to, but why? I'll take 2.5, right? Right? I mean, if you're going to take 2, then fuck it. Take 2.5. Who cares? Gives a shit. All right, here, 2 -114. I'll make that official. Current line at bookmaker. Signed in. I'll bet it. You should probably take 1.5 at -124. But no, I'm going to take Spurs first half, -2, -114. I think they're just very good. They should get it. Spurs first half, -2, -114. Make that official. All right. And then that's it for NBA. Now we got 2 NHL playoff games. Tell us what you think about these two. First one, Montreal, Buffalo, right? Man, I missed Buffalo in game 1. TJ said that was the easiest play of the entire playoffs, and he was right. I missed it. I was doing too many other things. It was a tough series for Montreal against Tampa Bay. Montreal's a good, scrappy team, but so is Buffalo. I rate Buffalo a little bit better than Tampa Bay. In the Tampa Bay series, I talked about it. I was like, every game seems like a coin flip to me. I'll just take every dog if they're plus money. This one, I wouldn't really feel that way. Buffalo's tough. First line I saw Buffalo -133 and 5.5, a little juice to the over. Let's see where this one has moved. Yeah. I mean, all right. So the first one, or the opening line at Chris, is Buffalo -140, Montreal +120. So it's moved, 5 cents towards Montreal since then. First line I saw was 133, and now it's 135. So basically, not much movement on the side for the total. Yeah. From the very opening line, yeah, okay. First line I saw was 126, opened 125. That was 135. So it's creeping up a little bit, which I can see, but it could also be a 4-1 game or a 2-2 overtime game. This one's just going to be a pass for me. It's just the lines are on. Can't bet the over, can't bet the under, can't bet either team. Swiggy likes Buffalo again, but expect Montreal to be out of this game. Yeah, I mean, I probably would put it on Buffalo. It's just, I would take Montreal if he gave me like 150. I'd do that. Jermaine predicting Buffalo 3-1. That is what it feels like. AM leaning Habs. Okay, we got it. Pass for me on that one. Next one, Vegas, Anaheim. This is a much more interesting game, right? Again, Anaheim outplayed Vegas in the first 2 games of the series. I had Anaheim in game 2 a bunch of ways, and that one cashed. And then last night's show, I was saying now that the line's like even on both sides, not sure what to do here, but TJ chimed in. Definitely Anaheim. Not, best bet of the series, of the playoffs, no. But definitely Anaheim was the play that he liked. And AM gave the opinion, I think, that he liked the over, which is also how I was feeling. I had the over in game 1. That was a total loser. Then in game 2, I didn't have the over, but I did have the Anaheim team total over, which cashed. But I'm thinking that the over might be a good play here as well. Worth a shot. And as far as, let's see, as far as the, hold on one second. Where are we? As far as the line moves, let's check to see exactly where I look. Of course, there's not going to be a huge move here, but actually, a nice little move there. Look at that. Anaheim -115. So yeah, so they opened as a small favorite. The overnight move was kind of towards Vegas, but now Anaheim's a favorite again. And the total, look at that. Yeah, big move to the over. Wow. It was like 6 minus 105. So about a 20-cent move to the over. And I definitely agree with that. Although I'm liking the over now a lot less than I liked it at minus 105. And a 20-cent move to the over. Look at that. Look at that, man. You know, yeah. Wow. That's a hell of a move. Let's see what the we got a minute and a half to burn. Let's see what the Anaheim team total over would be here at Chris. Let's see, the Anaheim team 2.5 minus 172. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, you know how that we know that's what it is. All right. Gotta be leaning Anaheim. Mostly, partly because of just my own analysis in general, mostly because of TJ's excellent breakdowns last night. And the total, 6 minus 123. God, so you got to get 7 to win. You got to get 7 to win. That's a little bit of a big ask, isn't it? 7, isn't it? You get 6 on a push. Push on a 6. Push on a 6. Swiggy said, hey, I'm leaning Vegas. Okay. Swiggy Bet's saying, hoping to take the Ducks live off Vegas scoring early. Yeah, I mean, in general, Vegas tends to give up goals early. But yeah, I think I would bet either team if they, definitely if the Ducks, yes. If Vegas scores first, or if you are caught napping and Vegas goes up 2-0, I would, no, absolutely Swiggy. If Vegas scores first, I'll be leaning hard, looking hard at the Ducks at Anaheim. And definitely if they go up 2-0 and I'm sleeping, I'm still leaning over 6, but it is a freaking playoff game. Red light should be going off frequently in a Honda Center tonight. That is a good point. All right, that settles it for me. It's official. Over 6 minus 123. Current line at Pinnacle. I'll end it on that. And people are like, so what was the main factor that crossed you over to making an official bet? The main factor was Coin LV saying red light should be going off frequently in the Honda Center tonight. That is the main factor I used. That pushed me over the edge to take the over. All right. 6 o'clock Eastern time. Great show. Thanks so much to everyone. We'll see you again on Monday, baby.
It's easier to sleep in the black. When you're losing your ass and feeling so, you know what to do. Tune in to Pop Sports Radio. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's a roller coaster ride, you're gonna catch a bad beat. No problem, keep your head up and just bet the spreadsheet. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. All thanks to Jeff Slaughter, these shows have our backs. POD's always rolling, especially the stats. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. We got Jimmy, Jose, Dabby and the fam, Dutch wine time, Spooner and OG Wham. So hit the like button, don't say that you can't. If you know what's best, just put your money on tape.